photocopy, under Services Home, simply select the Copy tab. By default, you'll notice your machine is already properly set up. All you have to do is indicate how many copies you'd like and press Start. Now, you do have options. If you need to reduce or enlarge your photocopy, you can go with the plus or minus. Once you've started pressing here, you'll notice that the box is in blue, and then you can actually work from here and indicate the percentage. So let's say you want 200% rather than pressing the plus button 200 times. If you're going from one standard size to another standard size, you can actually go to More, and you'll see your presets here. For example, if you're starting with a legal size and you'd like to have your photocopy on letter size, you can select the 78%, so 8.5 by 14 to 8.5 by 11. And all the way to the left here, you'll see that you've got the Auto Center feature. If you've ever reduced or enlarged, you've noticed that there's always a shift in your image. By requesting here the Auto Center, you're not only going to get a reduced copy, you're going to get a nice centered copy as well. Right next to the Reduce and Enlarge column, you'll find the Paper Supply column. By default, it's set at Auto Select, which means that the machine will detect the proper size, the size of the original, and on its own go and select the right size paper in the proper tray. When you're working from the glass, I always recommend that you don't leave it at Auto Select. I would switch it over to whatever size paper you'd like. So if you want it on 8.5 by 11 or if you want 8.5 by 14, select your paper size and then press Start. For two-sided copying, the 1-1 is when you're starting with one-sided originals and you want your copies to come out the same, one-sided. You're going to choose 1 to 2-sided if ever you're starting with originals that are printed on one side, like what I have here in my feeder. So my originals are printed on one side only. But I'd like to save paper. I'd like my copies to come out two-sided. So I'm going to select 1 to 2, and then I'm going to press Start. So this is a great way to save paper, so you end up with two-sided copies. Now, next you're going to select 2-2 when you're starting with originals that are already two-sided and you'd like your copies to come out the same, two-sided. You're going to select 2-1 when you're starting with originals that are two-sided but you'd like your copies to come out one-sided. In the Copy Output column, you'll find that your copies are coming out collated by default. Collated means in the same order as your originals. You can ask for your copies to come out collated and stapled, so you can ask for a portrait staple or a landscape staple, so depending on the orientation of your original. You've also got the option of selecting 2 staples. You'll notice when you select 2 staples, the machine will bring you to the paper screen. You have to select what paper size you want your copy on when you're using the 2 staple feature. And just press OK, then re-press Start. If you go to More, you'll see it's a little bit more visual, so when you make your selection from here, you can actually see on your screen where the machine is going to staple. You'll also find under the collated here, you've got the option to ask your copies uncollated. That's if ever you want all the copies of the first page, all the copies of the second page, all the copies of the third page. And that's your Copy tab.